And that's why grown men and women should make more toys.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Only Sports, probably our last edition of the year.
Yeah, possibly.
Because next week it'll be Christmas Eve, and then the week after will be New Year's Eve. So probably a 2-week break coming up for us.
How are you all going to cope without the geekdom and the sportsdom from your favorite Geeks Who Like Sports?
You guys will have to figure it out. You'll have to watch us on this. At least go to our social medias and see all the mini clips and a lot of the fun stuff.
I mean, there's plenty of that. More people watch. You guys watch those more than anything. So that's
yes.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I'm going to comment on a couple of those today because we had a couple of bigger clips this week. We some folks very mad that we're watching more college football, and some folks not happy with my take on Marvel Rivals. So we'll mention those a little bit later in the show.
This is going to be a great show because we're going to disagree on a lot. For those of you who want Ray and I to disagree more, today's the show. We go over our topics. But Ray, we did tease the toys, so I think we should start with the toys, go to the sports, and come back to the geekdom. My friend. You have something there for the listeners. Why don't you tell them what it is?
Yes. So about a year and a half ago, Hasbro was crowdsourcing a brand new ghost trap and PKE meter from the new Ghostbusters films. And when I still had a job and still had money, I decided to splurge. And they finally came in. Right now the batteries are out of it but it's been phenomenal. So the actual trap, if you're watching the video, I was holding up here, this is where the batteries go. And then you connect it to the housing for the trap, and then and then it connects the whole thing through this cable, and the whole thing gets powered up that way. And it's brilliant. It takes 4 AA's, which isn't a lot, but this is a lot of fun. I'm going to be taking some pictures over the holiday because I'm not going home for the holiday this year. I have a lot of time, so I'm going to have some fun with my new Ghostbusters gear. And the PKE meter takes 3 batteries, but it's it's really fun. My Ghostbusters outfit is basically complete now. I have the entire set. I have the proton pack, I have the trap, and I have the PKE meter. I am ready to go. Folks don't realize the holidays, second busiest time of the year for Ghostbusting.
Always. Now, Ray, since you mentioned that, I just happen, as you do, to have a Neutrona wand just at my desk at all times. So I think for our audience, it would be very important for us to quickly, you have the trap, I have the wand, and you just said this is the second month. We need to catch a ghost on the air. So I'm going to trap the ghost.
Okay.
You make sure you tell me not to look in the trap.
Yes.
All right. And
you have to understand the batteries are. I took the batteries aren't in here, so the trap won't open without the batteries, but we'll pretend.
We'll pretend that the trap's going to open.
Yeah.
And Ray, hold on. Let me turn everything on.
Yes.
Ready? Hold on for those.
Actually, you should say, "Don't look at the trap, Ray," and then I'll say, "I looked at the trap."
I looked in the trap, Ray. All right, here we go. There's a ghost of Yankees past. Let's get it. You ready, Ray?
Yes. All right, putting the trap out. Don't look at the trap.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
All right, bring it down closer. Closer. All right, we got him. All right.
Two in the trap.
Yes.
Ready to go. We be fast.
And they be slow. Yeah.
God, we're old.
What I also what I love is that this is the wheels work. You could actually roll this out if you wanted to. There is a display that you could put it on, but I'm actually going to be using this practically because I'm a geek. So
I just want to say, for those of you listening, thank you for indulging us.
Yes.
There's 2 things I actually want to say. One is that don't ever grow up. It's a trap, pun intended, for this situation here. And yes, Ray and I are 2 12-year-olds stuck in old man bodies, and I'm not going to change for any of you.
No.
Yes, I will continue to have a Neutrona wand next to my desk. Ray will have a trap, and one day we will meet up in person and catch ghosts.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Yes, as we drink our coffees, our respective coffees.
Yeah, Tylenol. Yep.
Goodness.
All right, that was fun. Let's talk about
a lot of
sports.
fun. We have a really big show for everybody this week as we wrap things up for the year, and of course, we'll have we've got a lot to look forward to in the new year. When we come back, we're going to be getting to the very end of the football season. Yeah. I'm going to give my top 10 list.
the second best sports time of the year, October being the first.
Yes. And then I'll have my top 10. When we come back, I'll have my top 10 games of 2024 ready to go. Because I put some time into Indiana Jones, but I need to put more time into it.
I was about to ask you. I'm about to download it. Yeah.
I'm about things are finally starting to open up, about 2.5 hours in. And this is what I think I'm going to finally get to where the game is. But we're going to get to it later, too, because I've been just playing so much Marvel Rivals.
Yes,
and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, their updates, and just how good they are. We're going to continue our talks about that. Also want to mention, we mentioned last week about how much more we're watching college football, and a couple of you were commenting about how you're not looking forward to the expanded playoff, and I was kind of shocked because everybody's calling there's going to be a bunch of blowouts, and maybe there will be, maybe they won't be competitive,
right.
But I think this is we'll kick this off here, just kind of answering kind of an impromptu mailbag here. We had a lot of comments, folks not looking forward to the expanded tournament, a lot of college purists out there, which I was surprised about. But I think this is going to give us a definitive national champion, unlike ever before. Lee, quickly, your thoughts.
I mean, Ray, I agree with you. I think it's a much more fair system. If there are blowouts, there's blowouts. There's blowouts in any playoff. I don't understand the deal there. The second thing too is you're telling me it was better when it was just 1-2. You're telling me that was better?
No.
All right, because those games were not amazing, my friends. All right,
no.
Like they were big games, but not big plays. Not all of them. Some of them had them. And then when they went to 4, like you're telling me that was better?
No.
Right now, here's the thing, too. Echoing what Ray said, there may be some blowouts, but if there's anything that this college season has taught us, is you never know.
Right.
All right. Now, listen, if this 12-game playoff, if the first games are all blowouts, all right, that sucks for college football. It's not so much you and I being wrong. It's like, what was the point of this then? But you know what my gut's telling me? If I'm a lower seed, it's not going to be a playoff. It's going to be much closer than you think.
Yes.
I think it said playoff. It's not going to be a blowout playoff game. Playoff.
Right.
There. We made it. Playoffs.
The playoffs.
It's. I think it's going to be much closer than people think. And sure, there's going to be a few games.
Sure, you're going to have a couple games that maybe where somebody gets smacked in the mouth.
But that's also why there's buys. And the other thing too is that, like, what if it goes the other way? I think it's very possible there could be a blowout from a lower seed than a higher seed. So. Or reverse that, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yes.
So, no, I think that to say that before is so much ego.
Yes. Yes.
Let it play out before you say that. I have not
100%.
been impressed with college football for years. Most likely that person commenting is an SEC fan, is just upset that there's so many more.
They're mad that Bama's not there again. Yeah. So, but anyway. But also, again, folks, we do look at the comments. We don't always necessarily respond right there, but we do look at the comments. We do see.
Look at your comments. We look at everything.
Yes,
especially
we see it all. We saw it. Yes,
Make sure you follow us on Instagram, GWLS Podcast. By the way,
yes, Instagram and YouTube. So
and the tube of you, the tube of you,
the tube of you.
Actually, I don't like the way that sounds. YouTube.
Yes. Tube of you. Ooh, that sounds like a horror.
Let's not go there. Facebook as well.
Anyway, we're all over. I mean, we're on TikTok too, as long as it still exists. We'll see how long that lasts. But anyway, moving in the NFL, Lee, it was a big week for the league, for the NFL. Starting to see some teams really kind of define themselves. The Jets, I want to just mention quickly in typical Jets fashion, probably blowing themselves. That sounded horrible. Blowing a better draft pick for themselves. That was not what I meant.
They might be Ray at this point.
They're celebrating. They beat Jacksonville like they won the Super Bowl.
You gotta get a win somewhere, right?
and the Jets now 4-10
move on from this.
Yes, the Jets have probably secured the fact that they've blown a chance at the number 1 overall draft pick.
Help the Giants out.
Yes. Washington. Oof. This was a massive. I don't know. Did you see the end of the Washington and Saints game? The controversy there with the clock, as the referees accidentally stopped the game clock, which allowed the Saints to get one more playoff, which they then scored a touchdown on the last play of the game because the refs accidentally stopped the clock. And then fortunately for Washington, the Saints did not convert the 2-point conversion that would have won the game for them and completely thrown Washington's playoff chances into disarray.
Well, I'll say this to the refs' defense, that rarely happens, that they make a mistake. So I'm willing of that magnitude. So I'm willing to let that one slide. But at the same time, the game management across the board, the last 2 minutes of the game,
sure,
it blows my mind, Ray, still to this day, that there's not more eyes on that situation. Like, there are so many rules, so many situations, so many scenarios. When is a team going to hire a clock management coach or a clock management person? And the league, it sounds like, needs to do this for the officials too.
Yeah, I don't know if one of the ref thought that maybe the Saints still had a timeout or what the deal was, but the fact that the fact that they blew the whistle and literally gave the Saints 3 extra seconds, which is what got them to get the last play of the game off, is
there's
insane.
No rule. There's no rule of like a runoff if you make
you cannot challenge you cannot challenge the ref misblowing the whistle.
So it sounds like the officials didn't know they made a mistake from what you're saying.
Not until after the fact. Until after the fact.
So if they knew they had made a mistake, there needs to be a rule of like, no, we made a mistake. The game is over. I'm sure that is in place. That if there's a mistake, they can just say no, that the game is ended.
I would hope so. But that whistle, that extra whistle, gave the Saints that extra play. But fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on who you are, Washington still ended up getting the win. Of course, if you're a gambler, you're probably mad that the Saints scored that last touchdown, but that's why I don't gamble, at least on football. The Ravens destroyed the Giants. No surprise there. Whatever. The Bengals keep the Giants are down to their 4th string quarterback. Like the season, I haven't watched the Giants in 3 weeks.
I wouldn't watch them right now. That's not the Giants.
No. They've given up. The season's over. They've given up. The Raiders have given up. Everybody's given up. So. Any team that has 3 wins or less right now has given up. The Bengals keep their slim playoff hopes alive. The Cardinals do the same. This was an interesting one. Broncos and Colts. Lee, did you see that? Did you see any highlights of this? The Colts were up 13-7, and I don't know how this still happens. How we see this? I think we're seeing it more and more. Jonathan Taylor, the running back for the Colts, broke a massive run. And then drops the ball at the 1-yard line, thinking he had broken the plane. And of course, it bounces through through the side of the end zone for a fumble and a touchback. We have seen this. I feel like more and more. And that was the turning point. The Broncos would then go on to score. I think it was 24 unanswered and win 31-13. You guys want to double check that score there, which is massive because if the Colts win that game, the Colts really have the inside track for a playoff position, but because Denver wins, Denver now really has a stranglehold on the 6th seed, and basically the AFC playoffs feel like they're locked up now with Denver knocking off the Colts on that one. Lee, how do these guys keep having these brain farts? How do you keep dropping the ball at the 1-yard line?
I don't know. How do some guys go back to their ex-girlfriends? How do some people vote for horrible things each time? How do people do the same stupid thing over and over and over again? It's a human component, and it serves as a reminder, I think, Ray, to all football players, do not drop the ball until you're in the end zone. Look, I will say this, that the guys that do that, so cocky, that's I think it's just more of a habit, unfortunately, that's like, I'm in the end zone, but you can't do that, guys. You gotta be in, and I don't understand how it keeps happening. I'm joking a little bit here, Ray, but it serves as a warning for the rest of the guys. Do not drop that football. But I'll tell you what, man, if there were 70,000 people screaming and I was about to go in the end zone, I might lose my present moment mindfulness for a second as well. Right. But this pro athlete, you got to be better than that. And it's going to keep happening. It's insane that coaches don't tell their players every single year, and I'm sure that they do not drop the ball until you are in the end zone. I mean, in the end zone.
Until the play is over.
Yeah. Stupid. It's a stupid play. It feels horrible. I don't think it, I think we get a little too hard on the athletes that do it. In terms of just like, you're a moron. It's like, you made a moronic decision, but guys worked his whole life to be there.
Yeah. PSA from the Geeks Only Sports. Everyone needs to be less stupid. Everyone.
Oh, that's a big PSA.
Be less stupid. Yeah. Everybody be less stupid. That should be your New Year's resolution. Everybody be less stupid. Anyway.
Ripper today.
Yeah.
The Ray Reaper.
Now, this is a fun one. Now that the Eagles won the Battle of Pennsylvania against the Steelers, and the Bills beat the Lions in a terrific shootout, 48-42. Lee, I'm gonna say this because of their injuries.
Yes, sure.
Right, the Lions have now, I think, 16 guys are gonna be out for the entire year. That is a third of the roster.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I think now, just because of the state of the health, they're both 12-2, but I think the Eagles have the inside track to. And by the way, the Vikings are also 12-2. By the way, the number one seed could come down to the Vikings and Lions in the last game of the year. The NFL is salivating. They have two possible divisions being decided in the last game. It looks like the Rams and Seahawks.
That's what we want too. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want meaningful football at the end of the season.
If everything goes as expected in these next 2 weeks, the last week of the season with the Rams taking on the Seahawks and the Vikings taking on the Lions, both of those games could be for the divisions, and the Lions and Vikings could be for the 1 seed. But Lee, it's hard to say that the Eagles aren't probably the best team in the NFC right now, considering the Lions' health
football
issues.
Right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in football.
Yeah. They have won 10 in a row. That is a franchise record.
Yeah.
They have destroyed the teams that we thought were going to give them trouble.
Yeah.
And now you're staring at 3 division games to end the season.
Yeah.
Only which Washington is the team that really can play against us. Yeah. That's not a shot at the Cowboys and the Giants. It's just being real at this point.
Oh, no, that's right? That's just the Giants are terrible and the Cowboys are mediocre at best.
Yeah. So here's the deal. In my opinion, it's really the Eagles division at this point to win. Mm-hmm. All right. Because it's unlikely that Detroit's going to win their last 3 games. All right. Mm-hmm. So I think that the Eagles here have an opportunity. You talk about meaningful football. You know, you could win out here and win the division, if not sooner. We'll see what happens here. But the Eagles are just completely in sync right now. They are surging. We are so far away from last season's complete debacle.
Yeah.
Right. They are the best team in football right now. I don't know how anybody would disagree with that. I'm not saying that as an Eagles fan. They are 10 wins since the potential collapse of Nick Sirianni and the absolute collapse of his hairline.
Yeah.
10-0. And even Jalen Hurts is talking a little edgy. I've never heard him talk like this before.
Well, especially after the Philadelphia media got on him and Brown. We talked about it last week, but clearly they played with a chip on their shoulder this week.
But look, we said this, and with Detroit, we talked about this too. That their end of season schedule is much harder than the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So again, as it stands right now, I know Detroit is obviously in first place.
Right.
But I think the Eagles have the opportunity here to win the NFC. Should they continue to win? And again, these are going to be tough matchups. The other thing too is that because of the way the playoffs work now, that first round bye is so important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like in seasons past, I might say, oh, there's 2 byes. Let's get in one of those and we can rest everybody. That's probably not going to happen, which is good. That means the Eagles are going to play their starters through the end of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Eagles are clearly the best team in football right now.
Yeah.
All right. They're firing on all cylinders. Every aspect of the game is working.
Yeah. It does need to be said, if Detroit should win out, and Detroit does have the tiebreaker with the Eagles.
They win. Yes, they will win the division.
They would win the conference. Yes, they would have the number 1 seed. And it also needs to be said, even though record-wise the Chiefs have the best record in football, the Chiefs have not played good football.
No,
really at all. Although they did win by 2 touchdowns this week against the Browns, they are the luckiest 13-1 team I've ever seen. And now that Mahomes is hurt, Lee, funny enough, how funny would it be now if Carson Wentz has to take over the rest of the way for the Chiefs?
I would not count out Carson Wentz. I think that there's people are rolling their eyes. This guy's won a Super Bowl. You can't forget that he's been looking for an opportunity like this, and you're handing him one of the best teams in football. Should he be in that spot?
Yes.
I like those odds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine that this won't happen, but can you imagine if it was Chiefs Eagles in the Super Bowl and he was behind that Chiefs offense?
Oh, goodness.
That would be pretty interesting with the guy that replaced him in Philly.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but that would be interesting.
No, I mean, Mahomes has a high ankle sprain and he's kind of week to week, day to day kind of thing. It's,
I wouldn't pick the Chiefs to get I'm picking the Bills would be my pick as of right now.
Honestly, even going in the role, I think the Bills are a more complete team. I think they are battle tested. I think that
they look hungry.
They are peaking. I mean, look, they are peaking at the right time. Not to say that the Chiefs maybe don't turn it on. We've seen that before too. They are a veteran team. They could kind of be cruising, but they haven't been tested. And you have to wonder. The one time they were tested, the Bills won by 2 scores. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens as the season goes on out of them. Just quickly, also, Tampa Bay, last game I want to talk about, Tampa Bay hung a 40 spot on the league's #1 defense in the Chargers, which the Chargers, still technically the 7th seed in the AFC, still a good team, definitely better than they were last year. I picked the Chargers to get a wild card at the beginning of the year. I still think that's going to happen. I don't see the rest of the AFC catching up to the Chargers, but in the last 3 weeks, but Baker should have been a Giant when I said 2 years ago when he was a free agent. Mayfield, that should be the GM of the Giants. Baker Mayfield, that offense, now that Mike Evans is back, Mike Evans is healthy, and that's all they kind of needed. It's like, I have somebody to throw the ball to, and now suddenly that offense seems to be clicking again. The Bucs, I'm not expecting the Bucs to go far in the playoffs. But they are not. They are somebody who beat Detroit earlier in the year. They are not. They should not be taken lightly. The Bucs, led by scrappy Baker Mayfield, and especially again after putting 40 up on the Chargers this week. Lee, Eagles, Lions, these are the creme de la creme. But we've been talking about the second tier, and I think it's time that we start adding to the second tier the Vikings, the Packers, who have been there. And I think maybe we add the Bucs to that second tier in the NFC because they're 8-6. They have control of their own destiny again in the South. And if they keep playing like this, again, there's 3 weeks left, but if they keep playing like this, the Bucs team, who knocked off the Eagles in the playoffs last year and almost knocked off the Lions, I think the Bucs can still be dangerous.
Look, 100%. The Vikings are easily the best of the rest in terms of the playoffs. Okay.
Yes.
In fact, they may actually be up with the top 4. We haven't given them enough credit.
Yeah.
But like Minnesota is probably it's the Lions, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, and then Minnesota is kind of right there.
Yeah.
Then there's a bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
All right. And then you got those other teams. But yeah, look, the Bucs, I think, are a spoiler. I don't think they're a team that's going to go far. I think that's a team that maybe wins the week 1 playoff, and it's like, okay, or maybe even 2. But I just can't see them getting past those 4 teams we talked about. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's 2 teams that they're in their conference.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Lions would lose them to a second time, and I don't think the Eagles would lose to them again. But in that first week matchup, if they're hosting the Vikings, because that's how it would be right now, they would host the Vikings. That I think would be a really interesting week 1 matchup. It would in the NFC.
I would like to see that. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They could potentially win that game.
Absolutely. That would be a really fun one. But Sam Darnold versus Baker Mayfield, who would have saw that coming in the playoffs? Possibly. Again, 3 weeks left. A lot could happen with seeding. Again, the Vikings still have a chance. Technically, if the Vikings win out, I think the Vikings actually would be the 1 seed. I'm not sure about how that would work because again, the Vikings, Lions, and Eagles are all 12-2 right now.
Yeah,
and the Vikings and Lions play each other the last week of the season.
Right. If they won out, they would win the conference.
Yeah. So the Eagles basically they need the Vikings and the Lions both to lose a game. So
yeah. So we'll see. I think that's likely is what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
because,
of course.
Again, one of them is 100% going to lose a game
because they're playing each other. Oh my God! Could you please don't tie? Please don't tie. Please no tie. Please no tie in the last week of the season. Oh my God! I hate the NFL overtime rules so much. Please no tie.
I doubt there'll be a tie. But
I highly doubt it. But now that I put it out into the universe, who knows? Moving on now from the NFL to Major League Baseball, hot stove. We talked a lot about Juan Soto last week.
Too much. And now no one's talking about him.
not very much. No. I was going to say because
real quick.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes.
When Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, we talked about that for a long time, months.
Yes. Yeah.
And now you got a similar contract with the Mets. No one's talking about it. Although several Mets fans have been sending me like little gifts and things, like not even kind of, it's so cowardly, right? Like they don't want to come out and say, we got Soto, we got the best. It's just like, Mets got Soto. It's like, yeah, we all know, dude. Are you going to stand behind them or are you going to wait till something happens to tell me if that was a good move or not?
Well, and the thing is
interesting. It's an interesting move.
Well, and the thing is, I think smart Met fans are now waiting to be like, what else are we going to do? Because
yeah,
a lot of them are like, we have one starting pitcher now.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah,
we still haven't re-signed Pete Alonso.
How about this one, Ray? Because I know we're going to talk about it. You want to talk about the definition, literal definition of selling the farm.
Yeah. The Mets
literally have done this.
literally sold their 2 farm team affiliates in order to help pay for Juan Soto. They have sold it to it's still technically their farm teams. Like they're their players, but the organization all themselves, the stadiums, the teams, any profits from their minor league games are going to another organization because Steve Cohen is like, I need to find out how to pay this luxury tax now.
You better win 4 World Series with this guy, or it was a mistake. You know who didn't do that? The Dodgers.
Yeah.
All right. Like, guys, it's very hard for me not to root against the Mets. But I'm saying this does not feel good. If I'm a Mets fan, you sold the farm. I understand the players just on the contract. If those things are not taken care of well, if your minor league clubs are not taken care of well, you are going to have major problems in the future.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. No one player except Shohei Ohtani is worth this. None.
Coming by the way, already to a ready-made team. Again, we talk about this. The Mets, much like the Yankees, have multiple holes they have to fill. Soto only fills one of them.
Before Ohtani, the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020, right?
Yeah.
2021, 2020, 2020.
2020.
Last time
in the
COVID Mets
season.
won last 1986.
86. Yes.
Holy hell.
We were in diapers.
Guys, listen, this is what I would tell the Mets fans, and we can't talk about Soto again. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to do the smart thing and kind of sit back and watch. Yeah. But if this crumbles in front of you, you thought Bonilla was bad. Oh my God. Just wait if this does not work.
Yeah.
By the way, you're paying Bobby Bonilla and Soto at the same time.
And Robinson Cano, who's now in the Mexico League. Or is he in the Saudi Arabia League? I can't remember. He's in one of them.
League, another league.
Yeah. Again, look, we'll see what happens. The Yankees have made a couple of moves. The Yankees signing Max Fried, who's he was one of the top 2 starters on the market. The top starter, Corbin Burns, still out there. And right now, last report said he might be going to the San Francisco Giants, which would be fascinating because the Giants made a really nice splash getting Willy Adames. That's a big bat for their lineup. And then if you add suddenly Corbin Burns as your top starter behind guys like Logan Webb and whatnot, suddenly the Giants, not going to say they're going to win the division, but the Giants can very quickly go back to being a playoff team in the current wild card era of baseball. Suddenly you get a big bat and a big starter, but we'll see what happens. That's still to be determined. But Fried kind of set the market, getting an 8-year, $27 million a year deal from the Yankees. If Fried stays healthy, first off, Fried immediately becomes the Yankees' number 2. Garrett Cole, Max Fried, this is what I've been calling for a long time. Legit 1-2 punch. Then you have the youngster Luis Hill, you have Clark Schmidt, and then you have somebody like a Carlos Rodon. This is how this should be at the back end of the rotation. The Yankees also traded Nestor Cortez, a very highly touted prospect, Caleb Duran, and a little bit of cash to the Brewers for a legit closer in Devin Williams. Arguably, I know he imploded in the playoffs, but that was last year. It's going to be, knock on wood, hopefully be different with the Yankees, but this guy is a legit closer, which the Yankees, you forget, didn't really have last year. The Yankees did everything they did with Clay Holmes tying the major league record for blown saves in a season. The Yankees did not, and by the way, and then the Mets signed him. The Mets signed the worst closer in baseball to become a setup man for Edwin Diaz. We'll see how it goes. But actually, they're not going to make him the setup man. They're going to try and turn him into a starter. Anyway, the Yankees now have a legit closer. They have a legit setup man in Luke Weaver. The Yankees got better pitching-wise, which is a big deal. Now, the Yankees aren't done, nor should they be. I hope they're not done. The Yankees still need a first baseman. The Yankees still probably need – the minimum need 2 more bats. Minimum, right? They need somebody to play the corner infield, whether that's Again, whether they get a Christian Walker for first base or they trade for a Cody Bellinger with the Cubs. And then I would still like either another infielder, whether that's an Alex Bregman at third, whether that's a Nico Horner as part of a trade with the Cubs to play second, and you keep Jazz at third, or possibly another outfielder to play center field, left field, or center field, and you have Jason Dominguez play the other one as a rookie. To me, if the Yankees get those 2 more bats, at least at this point, I go Juan who Soto? What was this guy? I don't know. Already forgotten. That's another thing that a lot of Mets fans. There's this, the meme about what is it? It's they did it. Basically, it's a bunch of people around playing video games, and they're just kind of like hanging out, and people put them as Yankee fans. And then there's one guy, basically, who's a Mets fan. He's like, we signed Juan Soto. We signed Juan Soto. Hey, why are you guys still having fun? Why aren't you paying attention to us? Why we sign Juan Soto? Yankee fans don't care.
We don't care.
If the Yankees are focused on our business, like again, I'm excited. Max Fried, Devin Williams, let's go, baby. We get Christian Walker, Cody Bellinger, let's go, baby. I'm happy. Again, I'm more mad that we made the trade for Soto to begin with because we gave up too much. We gave up 2 starting pitchers for him.
Yeah, technically you didn't give up as much as the Mets did, but look, Mets fans, if the big thing about Juan Soto coming to the Mets is that you got one up on the Yankees, you're playing this wrong. They're not even in your league.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's especially since it sounds more and more like that Pete Alonso might go to the Mariners, but we'll see what happens. Ooh. Anyway, that's it for Major League Baseball Hot Stove. Your Phillies are still shopping around Alec Bohm, by the way.
It doesn't sound like that they are. In fact, Skipper came out the other day and said he called Bohm and said, "Look, we're not shopping you around." The rumors are that we're shopping around, but we are not shopping you around. He did say too, it's not that we're not taking offers for anyone, and that's true. But he's like, we're not actively shopping you around. Phillies have not made any moves. So what's interesting about that, Ray, is that I think we're having an interesting Dombrowski moment here where he's looking at the team and wondering, do I need to keep these guys together one more year? Can they overcome this problem if we keep them together one more year? It's a common for those sports fans who are into this stuff. It's actually a common decision GMs have to make. Do I keep them together again, hoping they're going to break through? There are lots of teams that have won major championships in all 4 sports by GMs who have held on one more year or 2 more years. It's not an easy decision, though, right? These guys have had their chance. We're going backwards. You go World Series, NLCS, NLDS. I've seen this before with the Phillies, and it's painful. Now, I will say this, too. The city loves these guys, loves them. All right? If you're going to break that up, you're going to have to be, I think, less is more. I don't think you move 3 or 4 guys. I think you move one guy. But they have not made any moves. I think it's more likely that if there's no blockbuster, you bring in 3 or 4 young guys, small guys that see if they can break through into the lineup, see if they can find a spot. Do you bring in more veterans? It's not like Trey Turner hasn't won a World Series. I mean, we got guys there who've won. Schwarber's won a World Series. So when it's this quiet, it makes me wonder, what are you going to do? All right. And maybe it's more pitching moves. Although we have great pitching. I mean, we do not have a closer.
Your bullpen could probably shored up a little bit, but
maybe. I mean, they were good all year. It's just in the playoffs they had a hard time. I don't know. This one's tough. All right. Coach, manager's not going anywhere. Obviously not moving your big guns, right? You got some guys on the last year of their contract. You also got some guys in the minor leagues, Ray, that are coming up. And they're ready to go. It's like, maybe do you hold on another year and let those guys come and take the spot? So interesting. I would not be against keeping this team together one more year.
And it makes me think of the Florida Panthers last year, right? Like obviously some guys left after that, but the free agency and stuff. But they kept it together, and then obviously they went to the Eastern. They went to the Stanley Cup, and then they won the Stanley Cup. And actually, really quickly, that gives you a chance to transition into hockey very briefly.
Oh, hockey! Oh, who watches that?
Speaking of moves and whatnot, Cam Fowler goes for the Ducks. Get Jacob Trouba from the Rangers. And then they send Cam Fowler, who's been a lifelong Duck, to the Blues, which was a fascinating move. Obviously, they got some good draft picks in return. But Lee, do you have any quick thoughts on that? Because I saw that and I thought that was a head scratcher for sure. And I think it's good for the Blues. I think it helps shore up their blue line. But I feel like, you've basically you replaced Cam Fowler in a way with Jacob Trouba, and I don't know if that just seems weird to me. If you're the Ducks, if you're trying to build something there.
Well, those draft picks are really the key to that deal. The thing with Trouba is it does shore up your back end a little bit. There's also who knows what the Rangers and Ducks are brewing beyond that. Sometimes there's other deals that happen beyond the deal that you see about future players or current players. But Trouba brings a little bit of toughness to the Ducks, which they don't have, right?
But
so we'll see how that plays
But the one guy you could argue that they maybe had with that was Cam Fowler, and then they sent him to the Blues. They shipped him to the St.
But
Louis.
you got those draft picks because you don't need two of those guys. And again, maybe Cam's the type of guy that he's comfortable. He might have been very comfortable in Anaheim. Trouba's new. Trouba's lifestyle obviously will play into that team in a good way. Also, look, the Rangers. Anytime I see a team, it's not every time. I shouldn't say that. Most times I see a team on the East Coast move one of their top guys all the way as far away as possible. It's a message being sent. All right, because they could have traded Trouba a lot of places. They chose Anaheim, California. I think may be the farthest away team from New York in the continental United States.
In the U.S., yes, in the continental U.S. I think that's fair.
Think about that. It would send this guy as far away as possible.
Yeah.
But time will tell. I wish Trouba the best. I don't think Trouba's a bad guy. I think the media put a little too much.
I think it's a bad situation, and I think it's only getting worse as the Rangers continue to lose.
They look horrible. I can't believe how bad they're playing right now. But this goes into what we were talking about. The culture there is broken right now, and they're going to have to find a way to fix it. And most likely they'll fire the coach, they'll fire Laviolette, and they'll say it was him, and you'll get your little honeymoon period. But that team is too talented to be playing this poorly.
I agree. We'll see what happens. Real quick, we talk wrestling sometimes, but this was a big deal this past weekend. WWE brought back a classic event, Saturday night main event.
Feels good, sir.
Yes. Very much nostalgic. They even brought back Jesse the Body Ventura, who sounded great. I thought sounded great in commentary, limited commentary with Michael Cole and Corey Graves and whatnot. They brought back the old referee uniforms, the blue shirts and the black pants, no stripes. But I would say this, Lee, I felt it was like a Monday Night Raw. It kind of felt like yes, there were a lot of titles on the line and all that other stuff. But aside from Chelsea Green becoming the first ever.
Well, and the belts. We got some retro.
Yes,
belts.
they brought back the classic Winged Eagle belt for one night only.
Do you think it's for one night? Did they say that?
Yeah, it's only for one night. It's only
interesting.
Night. Yeah. They're selling too much merch with the current belt. They can't change it. So, but they crowned Chelsea Green the first women's United States champion, which she's very deserving of. She did fantastic. I think she's going to be a great champion. I love her shtick. And I think she's a very underrated wrestler, and she really got to put on a display of just what she could do. It was a great match against Michin, and I think was just fantastic and a lot of fun. But to me, it might have been the most impactful match of the night because everything else was just all the titles are on the line, and none of them are going to change hands. I will say the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship was very good as well. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Gunther. But also, it made Gunther look better, right? It made the champions. It made them all look stronger, which I think some of them needed, except for Cody Rhodes, who please just turn heel and then drop the title already. I'm so sick of him.
That's not going to happen until WrestleMania, my friend.
Probably not, but I hope it is to Kevin Owens. I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. I think Kevin is right. I think Cody Rhodes is just turned into Homelander already. With your dumb bleached blonde hair. Ugh. And your neck tattoo. Ugh. Moron. Nepo baby.
This is the consequence. This is the consequence of finishing your story.
Well, that's it. We wanted him to finish the story just so he would shut up about it.
Right.
Like, now I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm your champion. Congratulations. You finished the story. Great.
I think the seed to his turn to heel was planted in his hand by The Rock after WrestleMania. And whenever that comes back to light, that's when he's turning to heel. That's their plan. That's the sequel.
I hope so.
Or the end of the trilogy, I guess.
We'll see what happens.
Do you agree with my assessment, Ray?
I don't know how they're going to utilize. Here's the thing: I don't know how they're going to utilize The Rock. I don't know how they're going to utilize John Cena. Remember, John Cena's coming back for one more run,
right?
Very soon.
But he's not going to get it though. I think that when The Rock put something in Cody Rhodes' hands and they left, and he said, "Don't ever do this to me again" or whatever, that's going to be the catalyst that turns him fully heel. That's why they did that. Now I don't know if Rock and Cena are going to do too much. I mean, they did set that up if they want to.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, I don't need to see that. Right.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't want Rock versus Cena. I
don't want that either. Yeah.
I think you might see Cena though go after. Cena's obviously coming back to chase the 17th ever championship, right?
Yeah.
To break the tie with Ric Flair. That is what he's going for. But we also know that he has an expiration date. He's already said it. He's not wrestling past 2025. It will be his final run no matter what. Maybe it's just the tease of that. Maybe you don't give it to him. But it's also, and in a way, maybe whoever he does go after, it legitimizes them further. A true passing of the torch of sorts, right? Whether that's Cody or Gunther or whoever it is. But to me, I don't want to see Cody with the title anymore. I wouldn't mind if they gave it to Cena one more time. I want to see Randy Orton get the title again. I want to see Randy Orton chase Flair's record, right? Because remember, he's a 14-time champion. I thought they might have started to be turning Cody heel on Saturday when he used the chair on Kevin Owens for his finisher. But then they have Kevin Owens after the fact, which actually I do love how they're utilizing social media, do another pile driver, and now Cody is hurt. AKA Cody's taking a Christmas vacation. He's not hurt. Give me a break. It's a work, folks. It's a work. But I don't know. We'll see what happens in the new year. Obviously, they're going to pull out all the stops because they're going to Netflix. They're going to want that to be massive. They're going to want to be obviously drawing people. Keep that in mind, folks. They have been doing a lot of teasing. January 6th, January 6th, January 6th.
Oh, yeah. That's when The Rock comes back.
Rock comes back. Cena comes back. I'm expecting them all to come back on that night here in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play. Be the first time WWE will be there. I might be going to that, but we'll see. We'll see. But
what are you gonna do when Triple H comes out there? First Netflix goes, "Get the cup." Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, but no, it'll be fascinating to see what happens going forward. But they're setting up their stories. It's interesting to see what's going on. Saturday Night Main Event didn't really do it for me overall, but again, I was more happy to see Jesse the Body Ventura there in his boas doing commentary, I think, than anything else.
They're trying to reach back out to an older audience. It's cool. Trying to get everybody that they can.
Yeah, but I'm also okay if we don't have more Saturday wrestling than we already have. Because
we'll see how it evolves. That's the key.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a quarterly thing now. It sounds like they're going to do it quarterly.
That's what I'm saying. See how it evolves, right? It's almost like another pay-per-view in a way.
Yes. But except for on basic cable, basic television, it's just that I'm busy. I'm busy on Saturday nights. I had a lot of Christmas parties this week. I said it before we went on the air. The last week has been like a month. So anyway, moving on to you know what else I'm sick of? And I think what everybody else is, and even Sony's admitted it, this villain verse they were trying to create with Morbius and Madam Web and all these ancillary Spider-Man characters. Kraven the Hunter released this week to record low box office and record low critical review. And Sony has admitted that they are now going to take a break from this live action ancillary Spider-Man. And they are going to focus finally completely 100% on Beyond the Spider-Verse, which has been in limbo as they've rewritten the script over and over and over again. Is Sony finally tapping out? Are they going to finally just give the rights back to Marvel so that everybody can be happy? Because boy, oh boy, has this has been an unmitigated disaster for them. And they just, you've been better off, I hate to say this, you've been better off having AI write these scripts. Because this is how bad these films have been this year for them.
You know what boggles the mind, Ray?
What?
At any point, and you can look this up, they could have used Tom Holland's Spider-Man at any point in any of these films. I'm not saying that would have been a good idea. But I'm saying is they could have utilized their greatest asset at any point.
Yeah.
The fact they chose not to do that tells me two things. They never had any idea that this was going to work, right? Yeah. Also, somebody at Disney was like, if you screw up Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we will kill you all. Yeah. All right. The other thing, too, is with these movies, every step of the way, even with Venom, and I didn't hate Venom. It was like, who's asking for this? Who's asking for this? And people say, well, you could say that about Guardians. You could say that about Miss Marvel. I'm like, guys, that was like 20 movies in. It's like, it doesn't work that way. Like
it also matters if you write something good. Recognizing a good script. Recognizing a good script matters.
No. They made 6 movies of nothing good. What are you talking? Ray doesn't know what he's talking about. These things, millions of dollars went into these movies, right? Millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars went into making these movies. Why would you need a good script to make those movies? It just doesn't make any sense. I had no intention of seeing Craven. I didn't know it came out until someone said it had come out. The video games Sony makes are so much better than this.
Yes.
You have a winner in the Spider-Verse. Why would you not focus on that? It's beyond me. It's just poor decision making.
Yeah.
I guess after Madam Web and the hilarity that was received with people, we could do it again. Like, guys, that's a bad business plan. You get a bad product that gets made fun of. You don't make another bad product. You make a good product after the bad product. All right. And no one cared about Craven. Now, Venom, you had something going there. You should have abandoned Madam Web. You should have abandoned Craven. I don't even know where Morbius came in there. You could have absolutely brought in Venom with Spider-Man. You could have merged those universes there. People would have wanted that. Right. But it's too dangerous. I'm going to say it again to close this out. You could have used Spider-Man at any time. There was nothing stopping them, Ray, from doing that. Nothing. Yeah. But the movies were so bad, they wouldn't be insulted that way.
It just...
You could have brought back Andrew Garfield against that Venom, and it would have been a hit.
Yeah. It makes no sense why you're doing villain origin stories.
Oh, they were trying to do the Sinister Six. You know that. They were trying to get to a Sinister Six.
They were trying to desperately, and they couldn't do it because, again, you don't need... Look, villain development is important, but not to the point where you give them their own 2-hour film.
Can I just make a statement here?
Yes.
Based on proof? All right?
Yes.
And we can discuss this for a minute. Villain versus outside of television do not work. They don't work. You can do a superhero universe, and then in that universe, you can have villains that team up, but you cannot build a villain verse.
No.
Nobody's paying to see the villains, guys.
No.
All right? The Rogue Gallery verse is not a thing.
Yeah.
All right? It took 27 movies to get the Thunderbolts, 28, 30 movies, whatever it is. And that's not even villains.
Right.
Right? Technically.
They're all a bunch of anti-heroes, right?
Yeah. All right? So I don't know what they were thinking. I would love to be on the wall of just the thought process. My thought process is they were probably trying to build a Sinister Six to get Spider-Man back into it, and they failed miserably at it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you didn't even do the right Sinister Six.
Oh, God, don't get me
Do a Doc Ock origin. That would have had a shot.
Yeah. A character that people already love.
Do a Goblin. Hobgoblin would have had a shot.
Yeah, it just, we've talked about this, and I've talked about it ad nauseum from my brief time at Warner Brothers, is that it feels like a lot of these rooms are full of people who they don't care. They're there because it's their job, but they don't care. They're your yes men that have failed upwards, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't have a shred of creative essence in their body. They're pencil pushers. They're calculator. They're just pencil neck geeks. They're not the good kind of geeks like us. They're the geeks who only care about money, and they only care about the bottom line, and they only care about spreadsheets. They don't care about creativity and IP and legacy and the fans. I hate. Oh, this was a terrible idea from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I am glad that they are. I've at least admitted that they are taking a break It should be done
Can
completely.
we transition into something that I think you're also going to be upset with, but I am very intrigued in a positive way?
Yes, very briefly before we get to
No, it
that.
doesn't
Also,
be brief.
yes,
You want to add something in?
I want to mention, because it was in the rundown, that Pokemon is making a claymation movie from the folks at Aardman who make the Wallace and Gromit movies, and I think that is going to be good. Nintendo does not sign off on anything.
It's got to be good.
It has to be good.
Yeah,
and also
they have not done anything with Pokemon that has been really horrendous. I mean, even Pikachu, which was a reach, was a hit.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed that film.
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic film, and it was one of those things of like, oh wow, interesting take, and it was really well done.
It was a ton of fun. Ryan Reynolds rarely misses. He does miss, but not often.
Not often. Green Lantern.
Yeah. Like I said, rarely. And I'll even say that wasn't his fault. That was obviously
that wasn't his fault. Not at all.
It was all the folks at DC. And speaking of DC,
there you go. You're welcome.
Thank you. DC, we are getting sometime soon. We are getting a trailer for the new.
Very soon, as in Thursday of this week.
That is what is expected. Yes. The James Gunn Superman movie. And to get us hyped for the trailer, we got a little teaser of the poster. It's of the new Superman. What's it? Corn and Sweat or something. I forget his name. Whatever.
We'll go with that.
Sure. I have no idea what his name is.
Did you see the live poster, Ray? Or did you just see
Corn and Sweat. That's his name.
Did you see the live poster or just the poster?
I saw the live poster with the streaks and everything. And
did you hear the music on the live poster?
I did not hear the music.
Okay. So this is now what has pinged my interest. Yeah. The music is an ode to John Williams' Superman theme, completely redone in a choral arrangement. But it feels good. All right. Now follow me here. I don't know if this film's going to be good. I don't know anything about it, but this feels good. Now, Ray and I were debating this. Where is this going to go? I have a lot of faith in James Gunn and what he's done with superhero films. Now, Ray, your argument against James Gunn was?
I mean, that he's used a lot of quirky characters and that he's used a lot of less mainstream characters, and they've mostly been team-up films and whatnot. This is his first try at, I mean, literally the original superhero. Literally, this is as big a swing as you can take. You know, one of the holy trinity in DC, and it's going to be a solo film, right? Like, it's not. There's no team dynamic here, right? Not to say he can't do it, right? But this is going to be a big test from him. And also, the reason why this trailer is supposed to come out a couple of weeks ago, and the reason why this was delayed is that it's rumors are here in Hollywood is that the folks at the higher ups at DC are not happy with what James Gunn is doing, and that they're in a little bit of panic mode. Now, this could also go one of two ways. This could be a good thing. Because, again, we also know, much like at Sony, a lot of the folks at DC don't know what the hell they're doing. Again, from my time there, that's the way it is. There's a lot of folks who don't understand what they're doing. So the fact that James Gunn is rattling the cages could be a good thing. They should be rattled. But there is also the chance that he's rattling them in a completely wrong way, and this is going to go the opposite direction. I feel that this is going to be either one of the best Superman movies or possibly the worst Superman movie. I think this is going to, there's no in between with this. I feel like this is going to be one of those two things. It's going to be either you love it or you hate it. There's going to be no middle ground with this one, I feel like. But I mean, to your point, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Well, I will say this, my friend. Here's the deal. I believe that anything that DC is against probably going to be a very good thing. So that's the first kind of thing in the flag.
Yeah.
All right. The second thing, and this is what I find very interesting. I read the synopsis of the film now, okay, which we haven't really had available to us before. And the synopsis kind of surrounds, it said Superman's kind of going on a journey to find some of his lost Kryptonian heritage. But the bigger part of it that really stuck with me, Ray, was that they said that superheroes have existed for a long time. All right. And this is why I'm very intrigued and excited, because it sounds like James Gunn has built a universe where, with the origin stories out of the way, you already know the superheroes.
Yeah.
So that plays right into his wheelhouse of established team ups. Right.
Yep.
And I think this is the right move. And this is kind of why I'm excited about it, is that we're not going to tell you the whole origin story of Superman again. You know it.
We don't need it. Yeah.
We're going to tell you something else from a universe where you know these characters and you know that they exist. I don't know how Batman plays into it. That's the one big question mark. Nobody knows. All right.
I mean, I'll get into my theory with that. Yeah. Later.
I have no idea how they're going to play Batman into this universe at all. There obviously plenty of theories with that. But if you come out with the Super Friends kind of right away, right in James Gunn's wheelhouse. So I'm just going to say this. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to new villains, new storylines, going some other direction with Superman where they haven't gone before.
Yep.
All right. Again, I thought the Zack Snyder original Man of Steel was really good. And then I thought they fumbled the ball over and over and over again with Cavill in that role. Okay. I really enjoyed his origin take on it, and they just missed it completely. Yep. They just rushed into the Justice League, and it was a mistake. This one's like, you know what? You already know the Justice League exists. All right. And you look at the films, it might be the story, Ray, and this is what we talked about. The story might be the key driving force, not the origins.
Yeah.
And I'm down for that. So we will see what happens. I'm looking forward to this trailer. Until James Gunn makes something that's really horrible, and he has not done that, I got to be on his side. So I'm looking forward to this film.
Cautiously optimistic is the way to describe me. Cautiously. I'll say this also, you mentioned the John Williams thing. I also love the tagline. The tagline is look up, right?
Look up.
For the film. And it gives you that sense of hope and optimism that kind of goes back to the verisimilitude of the original Christopher Reeve Superman films. The tagline then, of course, was "You'll believe a man could fly," right? Like, and I feel this. Yeah.
You know something else they added back in?
The underwear.
And I don't want to get well, that too. I don't want to dive too deep into this because I think if people read into this too much, it goes the wrong direction.
Yes.
But they're very clear that he stands for truth, justice, and the American way. They've added back in the American way. So for years they had taken that out.
Yes.
Yeah, they just did truth and justice, truth and justice, truth and justice.
Truth, liberty, and justice, truth and justice. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's truth, justice, and the American way. Which, for those of you younger people out there, that's what it was when Superman came out.
Well, because you have to remember, Superman came out in 1938, right? Like right before World War II, and
truth, justice, and the American way. Look up, hope. I'm ready for a film that can make you believe again. Yeah. All right, and if anything can unify America, and even if it's Superman, it probably is Superman. Yeah. Let's get there. I'm ready for it because Ray. I saw Moana 2 over the weekend with my kids, and I got a couple people came up. Oh man, they politicize things. I'm all right. There's nothing in that film. Nothing.
People are looking for stuff.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that to you. There's nothing in that film that I even thought for a second was political. Nothing. You'll see it if you want to see it. Same thing's true of Superman. All right, Ray, look at me. There was nothing in that film. Yeah.
Political. No, I'm sure. No,
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
It's sometimes people are just exhausting. No, I want to believe. I want there to be hope. Again, my worry is this going to be? It's going to be I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it.
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm glass is half full. Your glass is half empty. It's the perfect Ray and Lee yin yang. Superman trailer this Thursday.
Yes, looking forward to it. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. You know what else? You know what trailer did drop this morning that does look like I'm not excited for it at all?
Karate Kid Legends?
Yeah.
You're not excited for that?
Not at all.
I'll tell you what, I was very intrigued with that trailer. That didn't turn me off.
I felt like it was just too serious.
Well, I think that's where they need to go at this point. So
maybe, but I feel like also we don't need to go any. I'm kind of exhausted with that universe.
Well, I'm very interested, having watched Cobra Kai. I'm actually very interested now, having seen that trailer and seeing where Cobra Kai is going.
I do need to finish.
What I see is a potential connection point. All right, like what's happening in Cobra Kai could definitely, from what I saw in the trailer, affect where that universe is going.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see if that's what happens.
Well, I will not see it in theaters. You can see it in theaters.
I'll see it for you. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I didn't hate the trailer. I'll say it like that.
Yes.
I didn't hate it.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I just kind of am like,
it's Jackie Chan, man.
Sure. I just don't care. I just don't care at this point.
Sure. I'm interested to see where they're going. I like the tie-in to Miyagi.
Sure.
I'm interested. Like, again, and if you watch Cobra Kai, without no spoilers here, there's a lot swirling around those ideas.
Well, I will watch season 6 eventually.
Yeah. No, I'll finish it, Ray. I'll tell you. Look, we'll have a sit down of like, do you want me to just tell you what happens? And you might go, yeah, just tell me what happens.
Yeah. Great. Fantastic.
Best friends.
Yes. Awesome. Last thing on the docket, just mentioned at the top of the show, Marvel Rivals continuing to dominate in the gaming space right now. Announced their first season content, their holiday season content with a 4v4 map where everybody plays as Jeff the Land Shark, and it's kind of like how to take on Splatoon, and it's just a creative, smart way of doing things. And a lot of folks were very mad that last week that I called Marvel Rivals an Overwatch killer. And to be fair, you're right. Marvel Rivals didn't kill Overwatch. Overwatch killed Overwatch. by similar to like the Zack Snyder universe, they made mistake after mistake after mistake, and now Marvel Rivals is capitalizing on it by being like, thanks, guys, we're going to do exactly the opposite of what you did. Overwatch was phenomenal. I played Overwatch all the time. Or at least I continually go back to it, right, when I wasn't playing other stuff. It was a lot of fun. And then I get it. The dev team left. Then there was the massive buyout with Activision and being bought by Microsoft. And then, of course, they canceled all of their single-player content. But that's the problem, is you stopped building on the universe, and then you stopped doing regular updates, and you stopped doing stuff that was fun. And then you got greedy because again, Overwatch, remember, was originally a $60 game that became free to play, right? And then you tried to desperately milk the battle pass. You screwed up the battle pass system. And Marvel Rivals is like, we're free to play from the go. Here's the battle pass. You get some stuff for free. They're going to figure it out. Here's a fun event. Here's free skins for free. We love all our players. And this isn't to say that Marvel Rivals down the line doesn't screw up too, right? This isn't to say that they don't fit. They don't get cocky and that they don't get ahead of themselves and absolutely drop the ball. But as of right now, there's a reason why folks like myself, who loved original Overwatch, who loved Overwatch in the beginning and played it and supported it for the first 3 years of its existence, immediately gravitated over the Marvel Rivals. Because that's what original Overwatch was, and we love it. That's what we want. Not to say that, and the thing is that what I'm saying is it might be too late now for Overwatch to course correct. Because now you have something with the Marvel IP, with possibly a dozen leaked characters. We know more characters are coming that we love from the Fantastic Four and Ghost Rider and all this other stuff. It's probably going to be too late for Overwatch, who, by the way, have no plans to add any more characters, and nobody cares because you stopped expanding and building on the universe. Where, again, Marvel Rivals has 60 years of universe already built up, ready to go at a moment's notice. Overwatch, you're right. Marvel Rivals didn't kill Overwatch. Overwatch killed Overwatch. Marvel Rivals is just putting the dirt on top of the coffin. That's all it's doing.
Comment below, haters.
Yes. And on that note, that's our show.
Blam, blam, blam. Blam, 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 blam.
Lee, you have any thoughts on Marvel? Have you downloaded Marvel Rivals yet?
Not yet. I've got to get that. I've got to get Indiana Jones. The most recent downloads have been the Fortnite update and NHL 25. I am overdue for a game.
Yeah, I think especially, I think with the kiddies, I think you guys will love Marvel Rivals. I really do.
Oh, I believe it.
And I think that, I'm curious to get your thoughts. I need to play more indie, but it's on Game Pass, folks. It's on Game Pass. So, and Marvel Rivals, again, free to play. Free. Perfect price. Free. I love free. But yes, anyway, I would love to get your thoughts on that. Maybe in the new year.
I think we'll do that. I will download it between now and then.
Excellent. So again, folks, we're taking a 2-week break because of Christmas and New Year's the next 2 weeks. But we'll be back in the new year with my top 10 games of 2024. Obviously, NFL playoffs. We're going to probably have a lot of MLB hot stove in the next couple of weeks. I hope we're going to have a lot of MLB hot stove in the next couple of weeks. And obviously, we'll have NHL and NBA and all the other fun stuff. We didn't even talk basketball in the midseason tournament or anything like that because we had so much to talk about this week. But thank you all for watching, as always. For Lee, I'm Ray, and this has been Geeks Only Sports.
Oh wait, that's Star Wars. My bad.